So he is the toughest man ever come from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. No disrespect to all the great football players and hockey players from the great city, but Roddy Piper, his formative years in wrestling were quite interesting. So we're not going to be looking at his whole career today, but it's sort of an adjunct to a series of documentaries done on the Roddy men in recent years. Now, born Roderick George Toombs, April 1754 in Saskatoon, better known again as Rowdy Roddy Piper, uh, was allegedly a distant cousin of the Hart family. I was always proud of that. In pro wrestling, Piper was best known to international audiences for work in the WWF and World Championship Wrestling between 84 and 2000. Although he was Canadian, Piper was billed at one point as coming from Glasgow, Scotland, and was known for his signature kilt and bagpipe entrance music. This was because of his Scottish heritage. Of course, the most weirdest incident doing the Mexican national anthem in a heel moment and playing La Cucaracha in disrespect to the Guerrero brothers. Now, Piper earned the nicknames Rowdy and Hot Rod by displaying his trademark Scottish short temper, spontaneity, and quick wit. According to the Daily Telegraph, he is considered by many to be the greatest heel or villain wrestler ever, but he was a face for a while too, so you might as well say when he was a heel, he was a pure heel. WrestleMania 1 as well. Look at it. Never like Mr. T, by the way. Now, one of wrestling's most recognizable stars, he headlined multiple pay per view events, including the WWF and WCW's respective premier annual events, WrestleMania and Starrcade. He accumulated 34 championships and hosted the popular WWF WWE interview segment Piper Spit, which facilitated numerous kayfabe feuds. And of course, when he hit Jimmy Snuka in the head with a coconut, that was the ultimate. In 2005, he was inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame by Ric Flair, who dubbed him the most gifted entertainer in the history of pro wrestling. Now, outside of wrestling, Piper acted in dozens of film and TV shows. Most notably, he took the lead role of John Nada in the '88 cult classic, the John Carpenter horror film They Live, and a recurring role as a deranged professional wrestler called the Maniac on the FX comedy series Is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, again, Roderick George Toombs, born in Saskatoon, was the son of Eileen Near Anderson and Stanley Barrett Toombs. Raised in Winnipeg and attended Windsor Park Collegiate. His father was an officer with the CN Rail Police, CN Canadian National Railway, while he lived in the very beautiful coal community of the Pass, Manitoba. After being expelled from junior high for having a switchblade in school and falling out with his father, Toom left home and stayed in youth hostels and allegedly worked at various menial jobs across Canada. Now, several professional wrestlers hired him to run errands as he picked up odd jobs in nearby gyms, and allegedly he worked the Moncton CN rail shops in New Brunswick. As a young man, he became proficient in playing the bagpipes, though he repeatedly stated he was unsure exactly where he picked them up. His childhood and lifelong best friend was ex-NHL player Cam Connor, an WHA star who scored an overtime goal against Toronto in Game 3 of the quarterfinal series against the Maple Leafs in the '79 playoffs for the Habs. Now, Piper was an amateur wrestler before he started to become a pro wrestler. He claimed to have won the Golden Gloves Boxing Championship, though their list of champions does not include any of his names. He was eventually awarded a black belt in judo from his world-renowned trainer Gene LaBelle. He started wrestling under the care of promoter Al Tomko in Canada. His first match involved, get this, midget wrestlers in front of a lumberjack audience in Churchill, Manitoba. He soon began earning money wrestling while still going to school. His first match in the famous organization was Larry the Axe Hennig in the AWA. Friends of his played the bagpipes during his entrance while he was handing out dandelions. Meanwhile, the ring announcer had to announce something, but all he knew was that Piper's name was Roddy. Subsequently, after seeing the pipe band, he announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Roddy the Piper." This gave birth to the name Roddy Piper. From '73 to '75, he was a jobber in the AWA, NWA Central States Territory surrounding Kansas City, and ESA in the Maritimes, Eastern Sports Association. He also worked in Texas for Paul Bosch's NWA Houston Wrestling Promotion and in Dallas for Fritz Van Erich's Big Time Wrestling. Now, in the NWA territories, he was in California and Portland between '75 and '80. By late 75 and early 76, he was a top villain for Mike and Gene LaBelle's NWA Hollywood. In 78, he also started work for Roy Shire's NWA San Francisco Wrestling, in addition to remaining with the LA office, where Piper developed his rowdy character. During this time, he made continuous insults directed at the area's Mexican community. He later promised to repent by playing the Mexican national anthem on his bagpipes, only angered the fans further by playing La Cucaracha instead, which in turn caused a riot. Piper also managed a stable of wrestlers in California. Now, in the LA area, Piper feuded with Chavo Guerrero Sr. and his father Gory. Piper and Chavo faced each other in several matches for the Jewel Strongbow Memorial Scientific Trophy. Piper also defeated Chavo for the America's Heavyweight title. Now, during the feud, Piper lost a hair match and had his head shaved. Piper appeared in several loser leaves towns matches and was forced to leave the territory. He also appeared in the territory as the Masked Canadian. In his first televised match as the Masked Canadian, Piper teamed with Chavo in a match against Black Gordman and Goliath for the America's Tag Team title. Piper and Guerrero lost the match and faced each other 2 days later, with Piper defeating Guerrero for the America's Heavyweight title. Piper wrestled as the Masked Canadian for several months until he was unmasked by Hector Guerrero. Now, by late 78, early 79, he left the Cal Promotions for even more fame in Don Allen's Portland-based Pacific Northwest Territory. He teamed with Killer Brooks and Rick Martel to win the NWA Pacific Northwest Tag Team Championship. Piper also won the NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight Championships with victories over both Lord Jonathan Boyd and Playboy Buddy Rose. Now, in the early 80s, he eventually ventured to Mid-Atlantic Territory, where he bet the great Jack Briscoe for the Mid-Atlantic title. He also defeated Ric Flair for the U.S. belt, which turned to a feud. From 81 to 82, Piper served as a commentator on Georgia Championship Wrestling and feuded with the likes of Bullet Bob Armstrong, Dick Slater, and Tommy Rich. Now, during the summer of 82, he became a fan favorite after knocking out Don Morocco and Ole Anderson to save broadcast partner Golden Soley from Morocco, who had grown angry at Soley questioning his tactics. In Wrestling to Wrestling, Gerald W. Morton and George M. O'Brien described the transformation. The drama finally played itself out on television when one of Piper's hired assassins, Don Morocco, suddenly attacked the commentator Gordon Soley. Seeing Soley hurt, Piper unleashed his Scottish Fury on Morocco. In the week that followed, like Achilles avenging Patroclus, he slaughtered villain after villain. In the arenas, fans chanted his name throughout his matches. Now, 82, Piper was fired because of showing up late for a match. He eventually warded to Puerto Rico for a month and was booked by Jim Barnett shortly thereafter. He returned to the Georgia Territory in the summer of 83 to aid Tommy Rich during his rivalry with Buzz Sawyer. Eventually, Piper moved back to Jim Crockett Promotions. As a fan favorite, he feuded with Sergeant Slaughter, Ric Flair, and Greg Valentine. Now, Piper's feud with Valentine culminated in the infamous dog collar match at the first Starrcade. Valentine eventually broke Piper's left eardrum during the match with the collar's chain, causing Piper to lose half of his hearing. This became known as the Year of the Year. Now, before entering the WWF full-time in 84, Piper wrestled 5 matches with the WWF under Vince McMahon Sr. in 79 at MSG. His first match in WWF, he defeated jobber Frankie Williams on January 22nd. Before one match, Freddie Blassie tried to stop the pipes by stuffing them with toilet paper so he would not play in front of the Garden crowd. Now, a myriad of belts and trophies and all kind of recognition for Piper, and it's amazing that, it just amazing goes about. So let's go over a few. NWA Big Time Wrestling, United States Heavyweight Champion winner once, and a tag team championship one time with Ed Wazowski. That was the San Francisco version. Cauliflower Alley Club, real member inductee 2001. Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title winner twice, TV champion twice, and United States champion 3 times. NWO All-Star Wrestling, again NWA Canadian tag team version, Vancouver, with Ricky Martel. NWA Hollywood, NW America's heavyweight title winner 5 times, tag team title winner with Crusher Verdue, Keith Franks, Pac Chu, Ron Bass, and the Hangman. NWA World Light Heavyweight title winner once. PNW Pacific Northwest heavyweight title winner twice, and tag team title winner 5 times with Killer Tim Brooks, Ricky Martel 3 times, and Mike Popovich. Pro Wrestling Illustrated Inspirational Wrestler of the Year in 82, then again most hated in 84 and 85. World Class Championship Wrestling, North American American Tag Team Title winner with Bulldog Brower. The Wrestling Observer, the newsletter, Best Heel twice, Best in Interviews 3 times, and ironically, the Lucha de Aposta record. He lost a hair match he won a hair match against Luke Williams, and also Adrian Adonis in '87. So the Luke Williams one in Portland, which of course one of the sheep herders later with the Bushwhackers in WWE. So, ladies and gentlemen, quite a career. But in the words of Roddy Piper, I was destined to be something. At the time, I didn't know what it was. And he said a couple of years before he died, he knew he wasn't going to live forever. He died at a young age of 61. If he'd be still alive in 2024, you can imagine he'd be over like crazy probably in AEW, promoting MJF or taking on MJF. You look at the aspect of the modern heel, each one of them has a part of it. And, of course, Ronda Rousey has the blessing of the Piper family. I miss him an awful lot because, he was the last real Canadian wrestler, to celebrate us and what we are, like hard scrabble tougher than a $5 steak at Ponderosa, if you know what I'm saying. So that's the early career of Roddy Piper. If you like what we're doing here with our wrestling podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And as we like to say in the North Shore, if you're going to go to a bar fight, bring the brass knuckles twice, if you know what that means. Get the foil ready. Have a good one. Bye.